I want you to look at your bathroom grout right now. Go ahead, I'll wait. See that gray line where it used to be white? Most people grab bleach, scrub for 10 minutes, and it comes back looking exactly the same in 3 weeks. I've watched that happen on jobs for almost 20 years. Homeowners, cleaning crews, even a few guys who should have known better, all reaching for the same bottle because that's what their mother used. I ran both side by side. Same grout, same stains, same time on the clock. What I found out changed how I clean bathrooms for good, and it's not the answer you're expecting. Here's what actually happens in most homes. Someone notices the grout lines in the shower have gone from white to a dingy yellow-gray. Maybe there's pink or black creeping in at the corners near the tub. They go under the sink, they grab whatever's there, usually a bleach-based spray, and they scrub. And for about a day, it looks better. Then it doesn't. I've been called into homes where the homeowner swears they clean the shower every single week, and the grout still looks like it hasn't been touched in a year. That's not a lying customer. That's a real problem, and it's more common than people think. The thing is, the damage doesn't show up right away. You don't clean your shower on a Tuesday and see it look worse on Wednesday. It's slow. It's the kind of thing that creeps up over months. The grout gets a little more porous, the color gets a little duller, the stains come back a little faster each time. By the time someone calls me, they've usually been fighting this losing battle for a year or two, throwing more and more product at it and getting less and less result. Same story with towels, by the way. People bleach their white towels to keep them bright, and eventually the towels go from white to a strange yellowish gray, and they get scratchy and thin. Nobody connects that to the bleach, they just think towels wear out. Some do, but I've seen towels last a decade when they're cared for right, and I've seen towels turn to rags in 18 months from bleach alone. And here's the part that really gets people. The stains you're actually trying to remove are usually mold, mildew, soap scum, or body oils. Those are organic, they're alive, or they were alive. Bleach is really good at making organic material look like it's gone. I want to underline that word, look. Because what bleach does to mold and mildew is different from what it does to, say, blood or wine on fabric. Most people never notice this because they're judging success by eyesight only. If the black spot is gone, they assume the job's done. Nobody's crawling around with a flashlight checking whether the mold spores are actually dead or just bleached white and sitting there invisible, waiting for humidity to come back. I've pulled up bathroom trim that looked spotless and found mold colonies underneath that had been cleaned a dozen times with bleach and never once actually killed. This isn't a scare story, it's just what happens when the tool doesn't match the job. And most people have never been told there's a difference because both bottles say kills 99.9% of germs right there on the label, and both bottles are sold in the same cleaning aisle like they're interchangeable. They're not. So let's get into the actual chemistry here, because this is where it gets interesting, and it's the part nobody explains properly. Bleach, sodium hypochlorite, works by breaking down the pigment molecules in whatever it touches. That's oxidation, but it's a specific kind. It attacks the color. This is why bleach is famous for making stains disappear. It's not removing the stain, it's breaking the chemical bonds in the pigments so your eyes can't detect the color anymore. The mold might still be there. The stain molecule might still be sitting on that surface. It's just colorless now, so it registers to your eye as clean. I tested this directly. I took 2 identical mildew stains on tile grout, same age, same size, same darkness, and hit one with bleach and one with hydrogen peroxide. Same concentration, same contact time. The bleach spot went white almost instantly, looked incredible. The peroxide spot took longer, maybe 3 or 4 minutes longer to fully clear. Here's the difference. Hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. It's got that extra oxygen atom that wants to break free. When it contacts organic material, including mold and mildew, it actually breaks down the cell structure. It's not just bleaching the color out, it's oxidizing the organism itself, breaking it apart at a structural level. That's a slower reaction, which is exactly why it looked slower in my test. But slower doesn't mean weaker, it means more thorough. This is the same reason peroxide has been used in wound care for decades. My grandfather used it on cuts before he'd ever touch bleach near skin, because he understood one killed the bad stuff and the other just changed its color. That instinct, it turns out, holds up in cleaning too. Now here's the part about grout specifically, because grout is porous. It's not a sealed surface like glass or glazed tile. It's got tiny channels and pockets, almost like a sponge at a microscopic level. When you bleach grout, the surface layer gets its color stripped, and that's what you see. But mold doesn't just live on the surface. It sends root-like structures called hyphae down into those porous channels. Bleach molecules are actually too large and too reactive to penetrate deep into that porous structure before they get used up reacting with whatever they touch first, usually right at the surface. Hydrogen peroxide, because it's a smaller, simpler molecule and it breaks down into water and oxygen as it works, tends to get further into that porous material before it's fully spent. That's why in my side-by-side, the peroxide-treated grout stayed cleaner longer over the following weeks. The mold that regrows fast is the mold whose root structure survived. Bleach left more of that root structure alive, even though it looked cleaner on day one. I've seen this exact pattern play out on probably 300 bathroom jobs over the years. The homes that get bleached every week are the homes that call me back every 6 months for the same mold problem. The ones where I've switched people over to peroxide-based cleaning, especially in showers and grout lines, call back a lot less. There's also a fabric angle here that matters if you use bleach on towels or clothes. Bleach doesn't just attack stain pigment, it attacks the pigment in the fabric itself over time, and it breaks down the cellulose fibers in cotton. That's an oxidation reaction too, but an uncontrolled one from the fabric's perspective. Every wash with bleach weakens those fibers a little more. That's the yellowing and the thinning people notice and blame on old towels. It's not age, it's cumulative oxidative damage. But here's the thing that really surprised me in this test, and it's the reason I'm not just telling you peroxide wins, always use it, because it's more complicated than that, and the mistakes people make trying to fix this are almost worse than the original problem. Common mistakes. Mistake 1. Mixing bleach and peroxide, or bleach and anything acidic, thinking stronger together. I cannot count how many times I've walked into a bathroom and smelled that sharp chemical sting in the air and known immediately someone mixed cleaners they shouldn't have. Bleach mixed with ammonia-based cleaners or with vinegar or with certain peroxide products creates toxic gas. People do this because they think if one cleaner is strong, two must be stronger. It doesn't work that way with oxidizers. You're not doubling the cleaning power, you're creating a chemical reaction that can put you in the hospital. I know a guy who mixed bleach and an ammonia-based glass cleaner in a small bathroom with the fan off and ended up outside on his lawn catching his breath for 20 minutes. Mistake 2. Using bleach at full strength and assuming more is better. Straight bleach, no dilution, no wait time, just pouring it on and walking away. I see this constantly. The problem is bleach needs contact time to actually work on what little it can penetrate, and full-strength bleach evaporates faster than people think, especially in a warm bathroom. So they're getting a strong hit on the surface, a burned-out reaction in under a minute, and then nothing. Diluted bleach with proper contact time actually outperforms undiluted bleach dumped and rinsed too fast. Full strength also breaks down grout sealant and rubber seals around tubs faster, which is its own expensive mistake. Mistake 3. Treating the stain and ignoring the moisture source. This is the big one. People clean the mold comes back, they clean it comes back again, and they never once check why that spot stays damp longer than the rest of the shower. A slow leak behind the tile, a bathroom fan that doesn't actually vent outside, a shower curtain that traps moisture against the same corner every time. I've found all 3 on different jobs, sometimes on the same job. You can use the best product on earth and it will not matter if the surface never fully dries between uses. Cleaning product chases the symptom. Moisture control fixes the actual disease. Alright, here's how I actually handle this now, step by step, and I'll tell you where peroxide fits, where bleach still has a place, and where the real fix happens outside of any bottle at all. Stage 1. Figure out what you're actually dealing with. Before you clean anything, look closely at the stain. Black, slightly fuzzy, spreading in a pattern that follows grout lines and grows toward damp corners, that's mold and mildew, and that's the peroxide job. A hard mineral buildup, chalky white or gray, that's water deposits, and neither bleach nor peroxide does much for that. You want an acidic cleaner for that, which is a different video entirely. Pink or orange staining, especially around drains and faucet bases, is usually a bacteria called Serratia marcescens, and peroxide handles that well too. Knowing which one you've got saves you from wasting a product on the wrong problem, which is half the reason people think their cleaners don't work. Stage 2. Ventilate first, always. Open the bathroom door, turn on the exhaust fan, crack a window if you've got one. This matters more with hydrogen peroxide than people expect, not because it's dangerous like mixed chemicals, but because you want airflow moving the moisture out while you work, not just recirculating it. I do this on every single job before I open a bottle. Stage 3. Prep the surface. Rinse the area with plain water first and wipe away loose soap scum, hair, and surface grime with a microfiber cloth. This is not optional. If you apply peroxide directly onto a layer of soap film, you're bleaching and treating the film, not the mold underneath it. I've watched people skip this step and then tell me the product doesn't work as well as it used to. It works fine. They're just cleaning the wrong layer.
Stage 4. Apply the hydrogen peroxide correctly. Use 3% hydrogen peroxide. That's the standard brown bottle strength from the pharmacy aisle. You don't need anything stronger for household mold and mildew. Pour it into a spray bottle if it's not already in one, since the brown bottle blocks light and keeps it stable, but once it's decanted, use it within a few weeks because peroxide breaks down faster once exposed to light and air repeatedly. Spray it directly onto the grout lines and stained tile until the surface is visibly wet, not just misted. This is where people go wrong. They give it one light spritz and walk away. You need enough volume that it stays wet on the surface for the full contact time, which brings me to the step that gets skipped more than any other. And this next part is the one step people always skip, and it's the one that actually matters most. Stage 5. Let it sit. Actually sit. 10 minutes, not 1. This is the step. I mean it. Peroxide needs time to break down that organic structure I explained earlier. It's not an instant reaction like bleach's color stripping. 10 minutes minimum. On heavily stained grout that hasn't been properly cleaned in a year or more, I'll go 15 to 20 minutes, respraying once at the halfway mark if it's started to dry out. Set a timer. Go do something else. Do not scrub early because it feels like it's not working. That reaction is happening under the surface where you can't see it yet. On my test grout, the difference between a 2-minute wait and a 10-minute wait was night and day. Same product, same amount, same person scrubbing. The 10-minute version came out visibly whiter and stayed clean 3 weeks later when I checked back. The 2-minute version had faint gray creeping back in within 8 days. Stage 6. Agitate with the right tool. A stiff nylon grout brush, not a metal brush. Metal will scratch tile glaze and actually create more microscopic grooves for future grime to hide in, which is a mistake I made early in my career and paid for on a callback job. Scrub in short strokes along the grout line, not circles. Circles just push debris sideways into the next section instead of lifting it out. Pro tip, add a small amount of baking soda to the grout line before you spray the peroxide on top, so it forms a light paste right there on the surface. The fizzing reaction you get isn't just for show, it physically helps lift debris up out of the porous grout texture, and it gives the peroxide something to cling to instead of running straight down the tile into the tub. I picked this up from watching stone restoration guys treat porous marble, and it works just as well on cheap bathroom grout. Most cleaning videos never mention it because it's not something you'd know unless you'd actually worked with porous stone surfaces professionally. Stage 7. Rinse and dry completely. Rinse thoroughly with warm water, then, and this is the part almost everyone skips, dry the area with a towel instead of letting it air dry. Air drying in a humid bathroom means the surface stays damp for hours, which is exactly the condition mold wants to come back into. 30 seconds with a towel breaks that cycle every single time you clean. Stage 8, where bleach still earns its place. I'm not telling you to throw bleach out. On hard, non-porous, sealed surfaces, a fiberglass tub, a plastic shower curtain liner, sealed grout with a fresh sealant coat, bleach still does fine work fast because there's no porous structure for it to fail to penetrate. Dilute it, about a half cup per gallon of water for most jobs. Apply, let sit 5 minutes, rinse well. Use it on things that don't need deep penetration, not on porous grout or fabric you care about keeping soft and white long-term. Stage 9. Fix the moisture source or you'll be back here in a month. Check your bathroom fan actually vents outside and not just into the attic. I've found more than one fan blowing straight into an attic space, which does nothing for humidity in the room. Run it during showers and for 20 minutes after. Check caulking around the tub for gaps where water sits against grout longer than it should. Squeegee the shower walls after use if you really want to extend the time between deep cleans. It takes 15 seconds and it's the single most underused habit I've seen in 20 years of doing this work. Stage 10. Maintenance schedule. A light peroxide spray and wipe once a week on shower grout with the full 10-minute treatment monthly will keep most bathrooms from ever getting back to the state that requires a deep restoration job. This isn't guesswork. This is the schedule I give clients who don't want me back every 6 months, and it holds up. That's the real difference, not which bottle has the scarier warning label, but which one actually gets to the root of what's growing in your grout. Peroxide takes patience. Bleach gives you a quick illusion. Once you know that, you'll clean differently, and you'll notice it stays clean longer too. If this saved you a callback or a wasted afternoon scrubbing something that was never going to come clean that way, subscribe. I've got a lot more of this kind of testing coming. Drop a comment and tell me your worst cleaning problem, the one that keeps coming back no matter what you throw at it. I read those, and a few of you have already given me ideas for future tests. And if your real issue is mineral buildup instead of mold, that chalky white stuff on your shower door and faucet, go watch my video on hard water stains next. Different problem, different fix, and bleach won't touch that one at all.